Since more than 150 years ago, two strange things have been in a cold room of a museum in Croatia. From an archaeological point of view, these two things are unlike anything else in the world. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel. In this video, we'll talk about a great find from the past. Archaeologists have spent decades figuring out what this Egyptian mummy and the strange writing found wrapped around it are all about. In the middle of the 19th century, most of the world was caught up in a craze called Egyptomania. About 50 years earlier, the French military leader Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Egypt, which was then part of the Ottoman Empire. He did this to tell the rest of the world about the ancient treasures in the area. Napoleon's army included several silent scientists and academics. Soon after Napoleon's troops took over Egypt, they found the Rosetta Stone, a large rock slab with 3 ancient writings. Experts used this artifact over the next few decades to determine what the Egyptian hieroglyphs on pyramids and tombs meant. Still, there were some languages that no one knew how to speak. For example, the strange writing on the clothes of a mummy found in 1848 in Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, shows that the person's name was Mihaila. Bari wanted to see the world, so he quit his job at the Hungarian Royal Chancellery and set sail for Egypt, like many others. From there, he went to Alexandria, on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea in northern Egypt. He seemed to like it so much that he wanted to bring something back to Europe to remember it, but there were few souvenirs. When Bari died in 1858, the mummy and its linen wrappings went to his brother Elijah, a priest in the Croatian part of Slovenia. Elijah didn't want to keep this strange present, so in 1867, he gave the things in the coffin to the Zagreb Museum of Archaeology. No one noticed the strange symbols on the linen strips until they were brought to the museum. Ruggs looked at the marks on the linen very closely. At first, he thought the symbols were hieroglyphs from ancient Egypt, like the ones that the Rosetta Stone had just deciphered. But 10 years later, when he accidentally met the famous British explorer Richard Burton, who was also good at languages, he realized he was wrong. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, used at funerals, was turned into Arabic. No one knew anything about this strange script for over a decade. In 1891, the linen strips were returned to Vienna, where they were first shown in Bari's living room. Jacob Krall's study came up with some surprising results. Krall knew the scripts had to be written in Arabic or ancient Egyptian because he knew so much. Instead, it was an old language called Etruscan, which people living in Italy spoke. Even with this information, though, the text was so ancient that it was almost impossible to translate. Experts have tried many different things but still need to agree on a single translation. In Krall's time, reading the writing on the Zagreb mummy's linens was more complicated than it is now. Some people have come up with partial translations of the 1,200 words, which include dates and the names of Etruscan gods. Because of this, some people think the text was once a religious calendar used to ensure that ceremonies and rituals happened at the right time. People initially thought the strange writing was on the body of an Etruscan who had moved to Egypt. The Etruscans usually burned their dead, so this would explain why the unnamed woman was mummified. The Labyrinthus could have been a way for the dead woman's family to combine her old methods with those of her new home. The fact that a papyrus scroll was found in the coffin doesn't support this idea. Reports say the Egyptian Book of the Dead was written on papyrus. Even though it was severely damaged, researchers could still read essential parts of it. According to this document, the person who died was a woman named Nissi Hensu. She used to be a tailor's wife. However, Nissi Hensu and her husband, Par Hensu, were not from the Etruscan culture. Instead, they were Egyptians from Thebes. Some think the vague words in her tomb might not have been about the person who died. They were most likely made around 250 BC in the southeast of what is now called Tuscany. On the other hand, Thebes lived on the banks of the Nile, where the modern city of Luxor is now. In other words, it would have taken a long time to get from one place to the other, but we need to know how old the bones are. India and Egypt were both countries that mummified bodies until at least the 4th century AD in theory. It could have been hundreds of years, between when the text was written and when it was used in Nisi-Hensu's funeral. It would have taken a lot of time to get there. Some people thought that the liber linteus was the only piece of linen that could be used to bury Nisi-Hensu. If true, the text was put there by mistake, not on purpose. For example, in 2008, the historical linguist Glenn Gordon posted a PDF on his blog, Polyglot. In it, he wrote down how to say more than 1,000 Etruscan words in English. This made it one of the complete dictionaries of the long-lost language ever. Since then, it has been used as a starting point by people who don't know how to translate. In 2010, a user of Wikipedia looked up one of the old documents in Gordon's dictionary to find out how it was written. In a blog post from January 2011, he suggests several other ways to solve the problem. According to the blog, another possible translation would be, "To the spirit of the night and the city forever." And that's not all. Gordon asks, is this night spirit one or many? This is the difference between a group of lost souls and a sign of the recently dead, no matter what the library links say. Even though this old document will likely keep linguists confused for a long time, the written linen strips and the mummy they were found with have become the show stars at the Zagreb Archaeological Museum. Reports say tens of thousands of people visit the museum yearly to see things like the vital dove, the Lombardies of Fisma, a stone tablet that tells the story of an ancient Greek settlement on an island off the coast of Croatia. It's also in the museum. But compared to the carefully kept library linteus, these two items still need to come closer. That's it for today. We hope you guys enjoyed the video. What do you think about this discovery? Tell us in comment section. Please like and share our videos. Don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates.